is something the people around a long-time nonprofit CEO may never feel safe enough to say. You have stayed too long. Now, this isn't about being a bad leader. You could be the best leader the organization has ever had. But after a long time at the top, people can get very good at telling you what they think you want to hear. And that's the danger. By the time you've stayed too long, you may be the last person getting an honest read on whether you should still be there. The people closest to you may be the least likely to tell you. Think about the smoke detector in your house. Its job is to make a sound you do not want to hear. But when it goes quiet, that doesn't necessarily mean there's less smoke. It may mean somebody got tired of the noise and pulled out the battery. That can happen inside an organization too. Your staff needs their jobs. Your board may want to avoid conflict. So people stop raising their hands. One by one, the batteries come out. The room gets peaceful and quiet, and you make the mistake that the silence is proof that everything is fine. I've led nonprofits and sat in boardrooms long enough to see what happens next. The organization begins adapting around the leader instead of preparing for the future. And let me be clear, now being exhausted or tired is mainly about your capacity. These signals that I'm talking about are something different. They're about what the organization has slowly learned to do around you. So, if nobody is going to tell you directly what you should be watching for, I am. Signal 1. The truth reaches you last. This first one is the easiest to miss. The truth still lives in your organization. It just stops reaching you. Everybody nods at the meeting. Then the real conversation happens 10 minutes later in the hallway after you've left. Nobody's lying to you exactly. They've just learned to manage you. They tell you the smooth version and save the blunt version for each other. When people hold back around you, it doesn't always mean they agree. Often it just means they're being careful. The real test isn't whether you let people speak. It's whether someone can disagree with you early enough in the process to change your mind. Because if the only truth that reaches you is the kind that's been softened, delayed, worked out somewhere else first, the organization is already learning to work around you. And sometimes you don't hear the next signal either. You watch it walk right on out the door. Signal 2. Your strongest people have left. And you keep explaining it away. And every single time, you've got a reason for it. Oh, she got a better offer. He wanted to be closer to family. It just wasn't the right fit. And here's the tricky part. Each reason is probably true. One at a time, every exit makes sense. It's only when you line them all up, you start to see a pattern. A title doesn't make someone your next leader. Real authority does. room to make a call you wouldn't have made, time in front of the board, time with your donors, a chance to lead in a way that isn't just a copy of you. When a strong person never gets any of that, they figure it out quick and they find it somewhere else. I watched this happen up close. A beloved president stayed and stayed. She brought in a successor, someone who everyone thought was going to be next. And the successor sat in every room, but never really got to lead. Within a few months, that successor doubted it would ever be hers. And when a better opportunity came, she took it. Not one of us stays forever. And every day there's no plan for who comes next. The organization pays for it. So when your strongest people leave, you're not just losing your best workers. You're losing evidence that the people you counted on still believe they have a future with you. But people aren't the only thing that can stop moving forward. Ideas can too. Signal number 3. Every new idea has to sound like something you already did. Somebody brings you a new idea. Before anyone will get behind it, it gets measured against how you've always done things. If it matches something from your past, it's safe. If it doesn't, it gets slowed down, softened, or set aside. Over time, your people learn the trick. They dress them up to sound like something you already blessed years ago. Now, listen, I'm not saying you're against change. You've earned the right to ask tough questions before the organization spends its money or puts its reputation on the line. That's not the problem we're talking about here. Your experience is a real gift, right up until it becomes the only test a new idea has to pass. Once that happens, the organization can't really move forward. It can only keep circling back to your past. So the signal isn't that you ask tough questions. Good leaders do. The signal is that every new idea has to sound like your idea before anyone will take it seriously. But there's another place you need to look: your board. Signal 4. The board talks about you, but not to you. The board has started talking about you, okay? Not just to you. I've sat on many boards over the years, and I can't count the times the real conversation happened after the meeting was over, okay? Out in the parking lot. Somebody leans in, drops their voice, and says, "So how long do we think she's going to stay or should stay?" Everybody standing there has a feeling about it. But back at the table, where it could actually be discussed, not a word. When your board goes along with everything, that is not always a vote of confidence. They may respect you. They may simply decide it's easier not to challenge you. A board can lean on one leader for so long for the information, the read on every situation, the plan, the direction, that it slowly forgets how to do its own job. Continuity, oversight, planning for the future. Those were always and still are the board's responsibilities. When a board has depended on you for so long that it can't question you, can't plan beyond you, and can't govern without your direction, then you have become too central to how the organization works. Now, that isn't loyalty, that's dependency. And the next signal I'm going to give you is even closer to home, because this one isn't about what your staff is doing or what your board is avoiding. It's about what may be happening inside you. Signal 5. Your fear of leaving has started making the decision. Somewhere underneath everything, you may already know. You may already sense that this organization needs someone new to carry it into what comes next. But every time you get close to that thought, you pull back because you can't picture who you'd even be if you weren't the one in this chair. This role gave you purpose. People count on you. And over time, it may have become a big part of how you understand who you are. Of course, that's difficult to let go of. But here's what we have to separate. Your fear of letting go can't become the organization's plan for what comes next. Those are two different things. And when we let them blur together, the mission is what suffers. Stepping back was never the same thing as disappearing. Some leaders step out of the top seat and continue to contribute, but only where the new leader really wants it, where the role is clear, and where it doesn't crowd the person now in charge in the seat. Others discover that their next contribution belongs somewhere else entirely. The choice was never simply stay in charge or vanish. Sometimes the braver choice, the one that actually protects what you've built, is learning how to contribute without having to remain at the center of it. And I don't want you to think of these as 5 separate problems, these signals. There are 5 ways the organization may be telling you what no one else feels safe enough to say directly to you. So don't use them as 5 reasons to feel bad. Use them as one honest test. Does the real truth still reach you, or only the softened version? Are your strongest people staying or heading for the door? Can a new idea actually be new, or does it have to sound like one of yours first? Can your board face what and who comes after you without waiting for you to bring it up? And can you picture, even for a second, who you'd be if you let this role go? This isn't about how many years you've been in the chair. It's about what your staying is producing now. This was never about me telling you to leave. It's me asking you to sit with the one question underneath all of these signals. Are you still the leader this organization needs for what comes next? And here's where this gets practical. Most of these patterns can't really begin to change until the conversation about what comes next is finally on the table. And there's one conversation that makes all the others possible, the one with your board. It's the conversation almost every leader avoids because they keep waiting for the board to go first. Don't wait. You go first. I made a whole video about how to start that exact conversation without your board thinking you've already got one foot out the door. It's right here.